Anyway, welcome to the show. We're glad you're here at the Armstrong and Getty Show.
I don't know. I'm in a lighthearted mood now. I don't know if I have the heart to do this story. I mean, it's incredibly important and fascinating. But I just don't know if I have it in me. I'm very emotional. I'm not a xenophobe. I'm not an Islamophobe. I'm a guy who, since I was thinking about this while going to the bathroom where I do my best thinking. Since I was a little kid, I've been fascinated by political science, demographics, and systems of government. Well, as a 5-year-old...
Boy, you are a fun kid.
Oh, well...
See that little kid over there? He just loves demographics.
I had a shelf full of books about the Founding Fathers as a 6-year-old. As a 6-year-old. Little weird little kid, Frankie, and I don't get you. Anyway, I'm just not. I'm fascinated by political movements and people's views on how to govern themselves or rights. Have been my entire life. Islam is one of the most important political movements on the planet. It happens to be a personal faith for a certain number of people.
Got about 1.5 billion followers. That's a lot.
My Muslim faith.
Yeah, well, there are 1 billion and one. Followers, but of what? As we've discussed many times on the show, the word Islam it's multifaceted. It is a political movement. It is a system of government. It is a system of laws. Also is a personal faith to some people, and they're certainly entitled to it.
All the way down to you probably call yourself Muslim, but you don't. I mean, there are 1.5 billion Christians, but how many of those are a Christian, but you don't go to church and you don't
see any Christian, or even they don't even show up for Christmas and Easter. So you're an R&M Muslim, Ramadan and Mecca, and maybe you don't even bother with that. Sure, that's absolutely true.
All the way up to you're blowing yourself up in the name of Allah for your twisted version of the whole thing.
And I don't hate anybody. Live and let live. Story out of Pakistan.
I hate Al-Qaeda. You don't hate Al-Qaeda? Surely you hate Al-Qaeda.
Oh, yeah, I hate them like crazy.
Taliban, I hate those people.
I was trying to come off as all enlightened, but no, there are actually quite a few people I hate. And I've got a list, too. I keep it next to my gun. Anyway... the governor of the Punjab region, no jokes, please, was assassinated. He was murdered in Afghanistan by one of his own guards. He was murdered because he was standing up for a Christian woman who was going, and by the way, all of this is from Time magazine, which I have railed against now for years about just being so outwardly lefty, I can't stand it. This is not from Newsmax, people. This is from Time magazine. This fellow whose the name is Taseer, his opposition to blasphemy laws was hugely unpopular among a large segment of Pakistanis, and they are consciously refusing to grieve for his death. In a statement issued by Jihad Ali Sunnat, a prominent religious organization that represents a huge movement of Sunni Muslims, more than 500 religious scholars urged Pakistanis not to express regret over Taseer's murder. Ibatsam Alahi, a member of the another conservative religious group, asked the faithful to refrain from attending the funeral of one of the most charismatic and visible representatives of the ruling Pakistan People's Party. Here's why. Quote, he sided with a woman who committed blasphemy, so he himself can also be considered to be blasphemous and hence a non-Muslim. And I don't think I need to attend the funeral of such a man. Some Islamic scholars even went so far as to praise the murderer, who allegedly belonged to a non-violent faction of the sect we were talking about. On Tuesday, he was so enraged at the governor's stance that he shot him in the back more than 25 times as he toured a market. Here's why he was enraged. There is a 34-year-old Christian laborer who was accused in some Islamic kangaroo court as being a blasphemer because she espoused her Christian beliefs and is going to be put to death for it. And he was standing up for her and saying, you can't do that. We can't do that as a country. So the guy was slaughtered, et cetera, and now the vast numbers of scholars are saying he was a blasphemer and got what was coming. There's more on the case. Christians are going into hiding. The White House actually expressed concern at the number of attacks on Christians in recent weeks. But, I read a great thing a while ago about, Michael, go ahead, get ready, about how in Nazi Germany.
Nazi Germany.
Go ahead, give me the ding. Or is that just for Hitler?
Well, you just said it.
Well, there you go. Well, we'll never know. It's like when the Supreme Court doesn't rule on the merits of a case, but on a technicality. We don't know what the ding is for. Is it for Nazi Germany or Hitler? We don't know. But pointed out that, it's often said, listen, the majority or many, many Muslims are moderate. This pointed out that the majority of Germans were moderate. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to the question. If there's a significant number, and you're an idiot if you denied that there is, by the way. If there are a significant number of people on earth espousing the highly political, aggressive, expansionist view of Islam, we've got to, as free people, oppose that.
Well, especially if they're in charge.
And we've got to oppose it with great vigor. Well, you're an Islamophobe. Well, the majority of moderate Muslims, they're irrelevant to the question. This is scary out of Pakistan. This is mainstream. A country, what are they, the 5th most populous on earth? Something like that?
They're big.
Mainstream, it's okay to slaughter politicians if they stand up for somebody against blasphemy laws.
We have one of the leading experts on Pakistan on tomorrow, by the way.
We'll ask him about this case. So, yeah, he is perhaps the leading guy in the world to ask this question to.
We might just be headed towards, slowly, and have been for years, a war with Pakistan.
Well, if you accept... Right. And if you accept that Islam is a political ideology like communism or fascism or whatever it is, or monarchy or liberal democracy or whatever... How could we not be? Look at the history of the world.